before the interview. Prepare a packet of materials for each applicant. The packet could then be sent to the applicant in advance. The packet should include a job application, your personal profile. This will give the applicant a clear picture of who you are and what services you need. The job description. You will review the job description with the applicant to be sure they understand the job. The task assignment list. This will provide a more detailed look at your schedule. You will need to have a copy of all of the items that you are giving to the applicant so that you can discuss them, a copy of the work agreement. You may not need this at the first interview. Take it with you in case you want to refer to it. It will provide the applicant with the basic requirements of the job. The list of questions you prepared and a list of any additional questions that arose based on the job application that you received from the applicant. Screening candidates. Identifying good applicants for your PA job while eliminating those who are not good is called screening. Screening the applicants is one of your most important tasks. Screening often takes place on the phone. Good screening can save you from making mistakes in hiring. You depend on help from others. Screening carefully will help you to avoid hiring people who are unreliable or undesirable. Screening questions should focus on things that are most important to you. You should not invite an applicant for an in-person interview if the key questions are not answered properly. Some suggested questions you might ask during an initial phone contact.
Will you briefly tell me about your work experience and education?
This will get the person to talk and set him at ease.
Do you have reliable transportation?
This is important. It tells you whether or not you will be able to rely on the PA to be on time regularly.
Do you drive?
If the job requires a PA to drive, you need to know if they have a license to drive. If the PA will be driving your car or van, you will need to be sure that your insurance will cover another driver.
So, can you lift and transfer 150 pounds?
PAs are of no use if they have bad backs and the job requires them to lift or transfer a 150-pound person. If there is a part of your routine that has a special need, ask a question about it.
Can you be at my home at 6 o'clock a.m. every morning?
If you have very early or very late time requirements, be sure to ask if the applicant is available.
Do you smoke?
Phrase this so you get the information you want. If you smoke, you should ask if your smoking will bother them.
Are you willing to fill an application and give references?
If they're not willing to do any of these things, you should politely close your telephone interview.
Have you ever done this type of work?
If the answer is yes, ask them to describe the work. If the answer is no, ask why they would like to do this kind of work. Tell the applicant something about yourself and your needs. After you do that, ask,
so does this work sound like something you'd be interested in doing?
If the applicant is interested in the job, send him your employment packet and schedule an in-person interview. If not, thank them for their time. Voicemail. This is your first screening opportunity. Remember, you do not have to respond to every call. Anyone who sounds disoriented or irrational may not be a good applicant. Job application screening. When you read over the job applications, you're looking for two important things. One, you're looking for a PA who has the necessary qualifications to meet your needs. Two, you're looking for someone who is comfortable to be with. The job application is more than just a list of jobs and job references. Some things to look for. Is it neat? Is it covered with grease spots or coffee stains? This may be a clue about how they will do your work sloppily. Did they follow directions? Did they answer all the questions? This may tell you how well they follow directions. It also may show how much attention they give to detail. This is important if you have a complicated routine. Does it raise any questions that you should ask? Did the applicant have jobs similar to PA work? Did the applicant do totally different work? Why does he want to change? Did the applicant provide the references that you asked for? If not, why not? If reading and writing are important to your job, is the applicant's writing clear and easy to read? Some simply will not be suitable, and you will eliminate them as possible PAs. Where to interview? You should consider where you want to conduct the first in-person interviews, at home or in a neutral or more public place. If you decide to do the interviews in your home, have someone in the house so that you are not alone with strangers. For the first in-person interview, you may want to suggest a place away from your home. This will protect your privacy and ensure your safety. This is very important if you live alone. Some places to consider for the first interview could be the home of a friend or family member, a community service agency, or more formally, a coffee shop or similar place. Your apartment complex may have meeting or recreational rooms, a library or foyer area where you may be able to conduct your initial interviews. You may decide to do the interview at home if someone you know and trust recommended the applicant. Even so, you want to have someone in your home with you. It is not a good idea to invite strangers into your home. You may be able to make arrangements with an agency to use a space in its offices for interviews. Face-to-face interviewing. Before the applicant arrives, you should review their application to avoid asking basic questions answered on the application form. You may also discover information on the application that could help you break the ice. Gaps in employment may be an indicator of past problems. Use the interview to ask discussion-type questions. Specific questions will help you make a decision about hiring the person that you are interviewing. At the end of this module is a sample list of interview questions. Scheduling. You may be lucky enough to have a number of applicants that passed your first screening. In that case, you need to estimate how long you think it will take to interview each person. Usually 1 hour should be plenty of time for each interview. Think about how many you think you could interview in one day. Much of this will depend on you. The interview. This is your opportunity to find out as much as you can about the applicant. Pay attention to your gut feelings about the applicant. Is this someone you could work with? How do you feel around them? Are you comfortable? Does the person seem comfortable around you? Trust your feelings. You may find early in the interview that the person is not acceptable to you. Sometimes one question reveals that it wouldn't work out. The applicant may be allergic to cats and you have one, or lifting is required and the applicant has a bad back. You can thank them for coming. Remember, there is no one best way to conduct an interview. Here's a good example of an interview.
Hi, you must be Sarah. Have a seat. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Greet the applicant, introduce yourself, and spend a few minutes getting acquainted. Compliment them for showing up on time. If you did not send out application forms and other information in advance, have the applicant fill out the application form, including references.
So let me just ask you a little bit about yourself. Can you tell me something about you? I see you have work experience and you have good references. So here's a description of the job and the task list.
Great. Okay.
Go over the job description and task assignment list with them. Make sure to be clear about any tasks that require intimate personal care, such as bowel and bladder care.
I'm pretty good as far as the bathroom and whatnot, but there might be times when I might need assistance getting to and from the toilet.
Review the hours of the job.
The hours are 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then again from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Do those work for you?
Ask the applicant the questions you prepared and any questions that responses on the application form raised.
Why exactly did you leave your last job? Let's say we're out shopping, and that is one of the tasks I'm definitely going to need from you. And someone were to ask, "So, what's wrong with her?" And I'm in earshot. How would you respond?
Ask about any goals or projects planned for the future. If the person plans to move away in a year, you need to know about that for your planning.
Where do you want to be 1 year from now?
Well, working for you.
Be sure to ask the applicant if he or she has any questions.
I kind of want to know at this point, do you have any questions?
Tell the applicant about the qualities you want in a PA. Don't be shy. This is important to your well-being and safety.
What I need in a PA to keep you here for that year is I expect you to understand the nature of the job and all the responsibility that goes with it, because it is a lot. There are my finances, my personal life, my friends, my family, my possessions, all those things that I hold very dear to me, and I need that kept private. Is that a problem for you? The other thing, one last thing that I hope it doesn't come to, I do expect that when and if the time arises, that my PA gives me sufficient time to train and hire a new PA when you resign.
Go over your personal profile with the applicant. Some applicants may be uncomfortable asking you questions about your disability. It may make it easier for them if you tell them a little bit about your disability. When you think you have all the information you need, ask the person if they are still interested in the job. If so, let them know that you're still considering them. Let them know the date that they are to start working, if selected. Callbacks. Callbacks are optional. If you have a more detailed list of tasks or a complicated program, you may want to invite your applicants back for a second interview. This interview would be held in your home where you may demonstrate or discuss parts of the routine. No-shows. Applicants who are scheduled for interviews who do not show up and don't call to cancel are called no-shows. Don't let them discourage you. No-shows can be a blessing. You would not want someone working for you who is not responsible enough to show up for a job interview.